Hey there, young scientists. Welcome back to LearnTube. Today, we're going to go on an absolutely amazing journey into the world of science. We're going to cover all the basics that every Class 5 student simply must know. So if you're ready, let's dive right in. Have you ever just looked up and wondered, hey, why is the sky blue? Or maybe you've looked at a little seed and thought, how does that tiny thing grow into a big plant? Well, guess what? Science has all the answers to questions just like these. So, what exactly is science? Well, the word itself comes from a very old Latin word, scientia, which just means knowledge. So, you can think of science as our super cool way of getting knowledge about everything in the world around us. It's the study of, well, everything. And you know what? This is the best part. Every single time you ask why or how, you're already thinking just like a scientist. It's true. That curiosity you have is your secret superpower. So whatever you do, never, ever stop asking those questions. Okay, so science is a huge subject, right? I mean, it covers everything. To make it easier to study, we split it up into different branches. Think of it like a big library with different sections for different kinds of stories. Let's check out the 3 main branches of science. Look at this table on your screen. First up, we have physics. This is all about matter, energy, and forces. So when you hit a cricket ball for a 6, that's physics in action. Next, we've got chemistry. This studies all the substances around us and how they change. You see chemistry every day when your mom boils water for chai and it turns into steam. And finally, there's biology, my favorite. It's the study of all living things, like plants, animals, and even us. All right, so how do scientists actually figure things out? Do they just make wild guesses? Nope. They use a super special step-by-step guide, almost like a recipe for discovery. It's called the scientific method, and it helps them find answers in a really organized way. Here are the 6 key steps. First, you observe something. You just notice it. That makes you ask a question. Then you make a hypothesis, which is just a fancy word for a smart guess. After that, you test your guess with an experiment. You analyze the results, which means you study what happened, and finally, you come to a conclusion. Let's see how this works with a real example. Okay, so let's imagine there's a boy named Ramesh. Ramesh has some plants in his room, and he notices something interesting. The plants that are right by the window are growing way better than the ones in a dark corner. See, that's step 1, right there, observation. So, Ramesh's observation makes him curious. He asks himself, why are these plants doing so much better? Then he makes his smart guess, his hypothesis. He thinks, I bet plants need more sunlight to grow. It's a really good guess based on what he saw, right? So to test this, Ramesh could do an experiment. Maybe he keeps one plant by the sunny window and moves the other one to a really dark cupboard for a while. And what do you think would happen? Of course, the plant near the window grew tall and healthy. His hypothesis was correct. He reached his conclusion. You can even try something like this at home. Awesome! Now that we know how to think like a scientist, let's use that brain power to understand something super important in nature. We're talking about the great food chain. This is all about how energy moves from one living thing to another. So what is a food chain? Well, it's not just about who eats who for lunch. It's actually a map that shows us how energy gets passed along from one living thing to another. Think about it. Everything needs energy to live, right? This is how it happens. Now, in every food chain, there are 2 main players. As you can see on your screen, we have producers. These guys are amazing. They actually make their own food using sunlight. We're talking about plants. Then you've got the consumers. These are the animals that get their energy by, well, consuming or eating other living things. Okay, you're ready? Let's build a food chain right now. Every single food chain has to start with a producer. So, for our example, let's start with grass. It just sits there, soaking up the sun and making its own food. Okay, so we have the grass. Now, what happens to the energy in that grass? Well, along comes a hungry grasshopper. It munches on the grass and gets all that energy. And notice that arrow? It shows where the energy is going, from the grass to the grasshopper. But wait, the story isn't over. What do you think happens to the grasshopper? A frog spots it and zap! It eats the grasshopper with its long tongue. So now, the energy that was in the grass and then in the grasshopper has moved into the frog. See how it works? And it just keeps going. The frog might then get eaten by a snake, and that snake could be snatched up by a big eagle flying overhead. So there's our full chain. The energy went from the grass, to the grasshopper, to the frog, to the snake, and all the way to the eagle. It just shows how everything in nature is connected.
Okay, now for one of my favorite parts. Are you ready for some totally mind-blowing science facts? These are the kind of facts that make you go, whoa, no way. Let's do this. Get this. We all know our planet Earth is huge, right? Well, the sun is so big that you could fit 1 million Earths inside of it. 1 million! Isn't that just incredible? Okay, let's bring it back to you. Put your hand on your chest for a second. Can you feel that? That's your heart, and it beats about 100,000 times every single day. Wow, it just keeps going, all on its own. That's some amazing science happening inside you right now.
This one is just wacky. Imagine telling your parents you're going to take a nap, and then waking up 3 years later. Well, a snail can actually do that. It can sleep for up to 3 whole years. Now that is a long nap. Okay, let this one sink in. The next time you're outside and you see the sunlight, remember this. That light actually took 8 minutes and 20 seconds to travel all the way from the sun to you. So in a way, you're always seeing the sun as it was about 8 minutes in the past. How cool is that? Wow, we've covered so much awesome stuff today. But if there's one thing I really want you to remember, it's this. Every great scientist, every single one of them, started out exactly like you, just being curious and really wanting to learn new things. So the most important thing you can do is to keep asking questions, keep exploring the world around you, because science isn't just something you read about in a book. It's everywhere. It's in the kitchen when you're cooking, it's in the park when you're playing, it's all around you, all the time. Keep learning, keep exploring, and remember, science is everywhere.